6:46. I'd like to call the Monday, September 26, 2022 Grafton School District Board of Education meeting to order. Ask that all present please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have two items on the consent agenda this evening: the approval of the minutes of the August 22nd, 2022 board meeting and the statement of receipts and expenditures for the month of August 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, aye. Aye. Opposed, and it passes. Mr. Nelson, Superintendent's report.
Yes, we want to start off by congratulating some of our high school students. So Grafton High School seniors Jack Wilkins and Liam Walls, who were named National Merit Scholarship semifinalists, and Ian Mitchell and Alexandra Moldenhauer, who were named National Merit Commended Students. So congratulations to those students. Congratulations to Miss Walls and Miss Taylor for their sons being recognized as the National Merit Scholarship semifinalists, which is first time in my term here over the last 7 years to have board members whose kids have been recognized as National Merit semifinalists. So congratulations on a personal note, but congratulations to all four of those families and those students. Best wishes as they move forward and hopefully receive finalist standings. And then next week is Wisconsin School Board Week, October 2nd through the 8th. This is a week set aside to recognize school board members across our state. We are fortunate to have you as board members who selflessly devote your knowledge, time, and talents as advocates for our students and our community's future. So next week, I would encourage, as we head into the 2nd through the 8th, encourage our community members and staff to take a minute and send an email or note to our board members for all of their work leading our district on behalf of our entire learning community. Thank you to each of you for all of your efforts. We have an apple in front of you, represents as a small, tangible expression of our appreciation, as well as our district leadership team took some time to write thank you notes to each of you in advance of next week. So thank you to each of you for all of your work. And we just heard in the last part of the meeting that you don't get paid very much, so we greatly appreciate you volunteering your time. And then moving forward, we have National Custodian Day, which is hosted on October 2nd nationally. So we want to thank our building custodians and our district-wide maintenance team that provide a clean and safe environment for student learning. They operate behind the scenes and are often underappreciated for their hard work, but they do contribute to our important first impressions, and we want to thank them for their efforts. So on Friday, September 30th, we'll be providing lunch for each of them as a tangible thanks. And then I skipped it, but National School Lunch Week is following that on October 10th through 14th. And that's Lori McGregor and her team with Chartwells that does a great job providing our students with, whether it's lunch at the elementary or breakfast and lunch at our middle and high school, and thanking them for their work during the week of October 10th through 14th with a caramel apple and a note from us as thanks to them. And then exciting times coming up that we have Homecoming Week on October 2nd through the 8th. Theme for the week is Game Night. A lot of different activities going on for each class, a lot of community activities that are going on. High school has posted those on the website. They've sent it out to all the families. So they are going to be very busy next week leading up to that, and we're excited to see the excitement in the community, as well as at the high school. Elementary students and middle school students will get opportunities to be involved in it as well with some theme days and having some students come down and see them during that week. And then it'll culminate with a dance on the 8th, and then on the October 7th, we will have a dedication of Kellner Field, where we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony for the turf at Kellner Field with Ted and Mary Kellner. That will occur on Friday night, October 7th. Summer Reading Challenge results: we had 265 students and staff participate. They completed 1,095 literacy activities and logged 5,642 days of reading. So great. That's an initiative that we started just a couple of years ago. Jennifer Griffith does a great job with that. And then our strategic planning process, just wanted to update the community. The last time the district had engaged in a strategic planning process was during the 2012-13 school year. And back in March of 2020, we'd begun working with Mark Hansen, the superintendent at Elmbrook School District, to create a new strategic plan, but then COVID hit. And so it was delayed until just recently, earlier this month, the board and our district administrative team met with Dr. Hansen to draft some questions to ask our stakeholders through a community-wide survey, as well as do a SWOT analysis. We are finalizing questions that will be shared with every member of our community on a postcard. They'll be mailed out with a QR code that will lead them to a survey, and then the board and the administrative team will have an opportunity to review the survey results and plan next steps, bringing various stakeholder groups together. The goal will be to have a completed strategic plan ready for board approval at the March 2023 school board meeting. So just wanted to put that out there as where we are in the process, and we'll provide a regular update to the board and to the community each month. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Nelson? On behalf of the entire board, thank you for the gifts of appreciation. Everybody knows what they're in for, and I believe is happy to be sitting in these seats representing all of the constituents of the district, but we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Public comment. Anyone here this evening wishing to be heard on public comment? We have one, just as you're making your way up there. I did not receive any emails this month, so nothing that has been forwarded.
I'll send you guys a copy. I have a copy for you. Hi, guys. Congratulations on your huge raises. I would like to express my thoughts tonight regarding the proposed hiring of a second school resource officer, or SRO, as they're known within our district. The huge price tag to the taxpayers, as well as what seems to be a time management issues, have raised my concern. I know we take safety seriously in this town, and I appreciate and echo that sentiment, especially when it comes to our children. I worry that tragedies occur in our communities just like ours throughout the country. I know many parents, including probably some of you on this board, worry about the mental health and safety of our kids every day. That being said, if safety is an actual concern, it would make more sense to hire private security for protection and have a security guard in each building protecting kids at all times. With the current proposal, how can 2 officers cover 6 buildings? Since the current proposed agreement between the village and district covers 2 private schools as well. If parents have opted for private schools, shouldn't they have to pay private security? USM is private, and they don't expect River Hills PD to cover or the taxpayers to cover them. Security guards with no benefits and no collective bargaining agreements are much cheaper, and I provide an example for 4 guards at $25 an hour. It's $140,000, so $5,000 less than what the chief said a guard would cost after 3 years. Security guards do not come with a rock-solid union behind them, allowing more flexibility for the district and the village as employers in the future. Furthermore, as a taxpayer, I'm very concerned that the chief of police was not notified when there was a shared personnel issue at hand. Is there not communication happening between the 2 employers? Being that this issue raised a lot of concern throughout the community, and especially that rumors were spread amongst children, it seems like full accountability and transparency may be lacking here. I'm certainly not suggesting that personnel issues be discussed with the community, but it should be communicated to all superiors, and certainly the boards responsible for their salaries. Prior to adding another expensive position, wouldn't it be prudent to conduct a work study with time logs showing how time is spent throughout the day? Last year, based on the chief's own recent report, approximately 150 incidents were written up by the SRO. That's less than 1 report per day. Why do we need to add another officer if the capacity is less than 1 incident per day? Also, is the school board aware of multiple exit surveys that have been filled out by staff members that have left the district in recent years? It has recently, and over a while, been brought to my attention that several former employees filled out extensive exit surveys with suggestions and concern regarding their workplace. I would strongly suggest reviewing some of these concerns prior to taking on another expensive, unionized employee. Considering that we are in such difficult times when it comes to hiring, it would make sense for board members and administrators to look back on what has driven employees away. If the board has not been presented with these teacher surveys, perhaps they should ask why that is the case. Truly supporting teachers means listening to them. It is important to see the information if they're sharing reflects a pattern. I have heard many of you say you are here because supporting teachers, and I still hope that's the case. What seems to be obvious to me as a parent after multiple lockdown situations through the years is more preventative measures regarding mental health care are needed to be taken within our district. Wraparound care is clearly needed to work with communities in homes, schools, and the police department if needed. We need a person with background in mental health care to work as support for our students who need it most and can help diffuse volatile and highly sensitive situations before it reaches the needs of police assistance. This is a better service to the community as a whole. The bottom line seems to be this: both entities need and want another position filled, and they want it for the cheapest price. If they split the salary of one, they both pay less, even though the total to the taxpayers is astronomical. I hope we are not reducing the safety of our children to a numbers game. And just because something is cheaper for two separate budgets doesn't mean that it's a good deal for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional comments this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on to item C, the personnel report.
Yes, we would ask for approval for our new hires, and then we have informational new hires and a resignation. We have new hires of Mary Carlton, Title I interventionist, Woodview Elementary School, Lisa Didier, special education, Woodview Elementary School, and Madeline Hosney, Title I interventionist at John Long Middle School. Informational use only, Melissa Forsyth, special education aide, Kennedy Elementary School, and Mary Grappeton, student supervisor in Grafton High School. And Deborah Schmidt is resigned as her 5K aide at Woodview Elementary School, as she's taken on the long-term sub position at Woodview for that position.
Okay, then I'd entertain a motion to approve the new hires of Mary Carlton, Title I interventionist at Woodview, Lisa Didier, special education at Woodview Elementary, and Madeline Hosney, Title I interventionist at John Long Middle School.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, aye. Aye. Opposed, and the motion passes. The others are informational, correct? Okay. Then we'll move on to item D, a Zonfield solar update.
Yeah, we wanted to give the board an update on the status of the Zon Solar project, which, as you recall, we have leased a portion of Zon Field for the installation of a solar array that then would result in the district receiving lease payments over a long stretch of time. So give you a little update tonight. Jamie will give some information on the status of the project. I'll talk a little bit about the financials.
Yes, so the update for the solar array, as you remember, the town of Grafton approved this last spring. So, and it's the construction started June of 21. So throughout that, the next 2 months, they established their perimeters and they installed the fencing. So that gave us the ability to start our landscaping. So majority of our landscaping was done by 2021, September of 2021. And we finished the remaining landscaping in the spring of 2022. So the solar panels, just to go back a little bit, if you could go back one, I just want to remind everybody whose responsibility is what. So Sunvest and We Energies is responsible for everything inside the fence. They own that property. They own the equipment, and including the fence. School district is responsible for the landscaping. As you can see, some landscaping right here. Those are trees that we planted. We are responsible for maintaining that throughout this project. Thank you. So the solar panels were completed in December of 2021. and they were brought online in March of 2020. Big delay was the electrical components were made overseas, and the supply chain caused that delay.
So with the solar array being brought online in March of 2022, we did begin receiving lease payments the next month in April, and are currently receiving monthly payments of about $2,800. So we had talked a lot about receiving about $30,000 per year. Right now, our lease payments do exceed that. That's right around $33,000 a year currently.
So the next step, the final steps, Sunvest and We Energies. So they have 3 applications trying to kill the existing turf. And so I believe that has happened. I was out there today. So the next phase would be to grow prairie grass and wildflowers. So right here, this is another site, but this is what it will look like in 2 years. So it will take that long to establish that grass. And on the school district's end, IT is working with We Energies. So we are hoping within a month that we will be able to view the KWs generated from this solar site in real time for our students. Any questions?
No, I think there was some concern raised at the town level. I think those concerns have been addressed. I think your explanation tonight addresses the inside of the fence and whose responsibility it is to manage for and take care of. And we look forward to our installation looking like that on the inside soon. And I would imagine it's weather dependent. Any additional questions? Thank you. Thanks for the update. Item E, Annual Seclusion and Restraint Report.
Good evening. Wisconsin Act 118 addresses the use of physical restraint and seclusion in our schools. This legislation, created in 2011, prohibits the use of seclusion and physical restraint by school staff except in very limited circumstances where a student's behavior presents a clear, present, and imminent risk, physical risk to the safety of either the student or to staff and other students. This law applies to students both with and without disabilities, and each year we need to submit to the school board a report of the number of instances of seclusion and restraint, and then we also have to report out to the Department of Public Instruction each year by December 1st. Mike Kalina is our in-house nonviolent crisis intervention trainer that uses the CPI model and trains crisis team members in each school, and this summer he trained 11 staff members during our LBC. So this past school year, we had 11 incidents of seclusion. This involved 4 students, all of whom had a disability. And we had 3 incidents of restraint, and that involved 3 different students, and those students also had disabilities. Any questions?
Any questions for Laura? Information only, so nothing needed on behalf of the board. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we're set. You're up for the next one, sorry. Okay. Oh.
FNG, I should have said that to me. My apologies.
FG, okay. Keep going. Adoption of, the Summer Learning Academy before
A little bit more
that.
positive topic.
Yes.
Okay, this past summer, we had 25 academic courses offered during the Summer Learning Academy in areas of math and reading. We had credit recovery, we had 4K Jumpstart, and kindergarten readiness and Safety Town. And then we had 157 enrichment classes offered to students. And those included classes such as art, science, athletic, music. We had students, TAs, in grades 7 through 12 who helped out in classes. This year, this is middle school course for incoming 6th graders really gained popularity, and we needed to add some more sections because we had 85 students participate. And then new this year, we had the Black Hawk Kickstart class for the incoming 9th graders. And this 3-hour class was attended by almost 50% of our incoming 9th graders. So overall, student enrollment during the summer of 2022 was the highest since the academy began. I know I said that last summer, but this summer we were up even more. We had 1,012 students enrolled over the course of the summer. And the table below kind of shows the trend of the summer academy attendance and the number of courses taken. Any questions?
Outstanding. Any questions? So thank you very much for the continued success of the program, and I think in this case and many cases the numbers do speak for themselves. It's remarkable the number of students that are taking advantage and the number of courses that are being taken and offered. So our thanks to all those who participate in these programs and making sure that they are quality educational opportunities for our kids over the summer. Much appreciated. Last item for you, yes, item G, the adoption of the Wisconsin Special Education Model Policies and Procedures Manual.
Policy 2460, the Programs for Students with Disability, directs the board to annually adopt the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction Special Education Model Forms, Policies, and Procedure Manual as the board's official policy in all practices and procedures relating to the education of students with disabilities. The board also further assures that all district employees shall comply with the procedures and responsibilities. This manual guides all of our procedures, all of our policies, all of our timelines and our paperwork that we need to follow for special education. The Department of Public Instruction updates this annually. They're a little bit behind this last summer, so we didn't present this in July like we normally do. Not a lot of changes, but typically our special ed forms are revamped each year. So we are just asking you to adopt the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction Special Education Model Forms, Policies, and Procedure Manual as our own.
Any questions? Hearing none, then I would entertain a motion to adopt the updated Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction Special Education Model Forms and Policies and Procedures Manual as the board's official policy, and that's the Policies and Procedure Manual, last revised July of 2022. So to have such a motion. Is there any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, aye. Aye. Opposed? And it passes. Thank you very much, Laura, for all of those items. Item H, notification of technical corrections in Neola Update 31.2 that have been approved by the superintendent.
Yes, on September 13th, we met with Neola and our new Neola representative and reviewed various policies. The policies that you have in front of you that were attached are the ones that are technical revisions only, that are minor changes, maybe a word here, a word there that goes with it, or an updating of a date that goes with it. So it's a notification of the board that these are the policies that we have made those technical corrections to. We will then be bringing all those other policies that we discussed with our Neola rep to the October policy committee meeting, which will come back to the full board in November, depending on what the policy committee does. But these are the technical revisions that I have approved based on board policy.
Thank you. We don't need, it's just informational only, correct? All right, thank you for sharing those updates. The student overnight trip requests.
Yes, we have two student overnight trip applications that we'd asked the board to approve. One is for the Grafton High School cross-country team, where they go to Glacier Hills rustic cabins and campsites in Hubertus. And you can see that Ryan Brogelman and Celia Willie are the coaches and chaperones for the trip. So they've been doing this for over 20 years. They are making it, they're continuing it at Freeze Lake, but they are making it an optional 2-night stay. So there's a lot of different activities going on, which if they were to require it for 2 nights, would have some students not being able to attend. So they are, they're going to be providing transportation for students who require transportation and will be staying that entire time. However, you'll notice that they are allowing students to travel on their own if they use the transportation approval form to be able to come back and forth, because if they have other activities that they had to attend, they're trying to make it as flexible as possible, but there will be transportation for those who require transportation.
Approve the,
I was trying to remember if I did, so I paused. Thank you. I think I do both. I was trying to remember. Yeah, I do. I was pausing because I was wondering. And then the second one that I was going to say is the Washington, D.C. and Getty. That's why Mr. Nada's in charge of policy. The Washington, D.C. and Gettysburg trip in 2024. So Stanislavski has done this trip for a number of years and is just trying to get out ahead of getting approval for it so that they can begin fundraising and letting people know about the situation. They will have an informational meeting in October for any current 6th and 7th grade families interested in finding out about the 2024 trip. Great opportunity for our kids to go to Washington, D.C. and see history in action in our nation's capital.
any questions for Superintendent Nelson on these overnight trip applications? Hearing none, then I'd entertain a motion to approve the trip applications as presented.
So moved.
Second.
One last time for any questions, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, aye. Aye. Opposed, and the motion passes. Gift reports.
We have 2 gifts that we would ask the board to accept, both restricted gifts. One is from the Kennedy Elementary School Parent-Teacher Group, the PTG, with Sarah Cooper as the contact person. They have purchased library furniture for the Kennedy's library in the amount of $13,106.56. And then for the donor of Regal Rexnord with Mark Sleminski as the contact person, which is going to the GHS FTC for robotic parts in the amount of $500.
Questions? Entertain a motion to accept the gifts as presented.
So moved.
Second.
The last chance for questions. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, aye. Aye. Opposed, and it passes. All right, that brings us to the end of the agenda. The board will convene into closed session to consider employment and compensation of a second school resource officer. This is in accordance with Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85, Section 1, subsection C. Do we have a motion to adjourn into closed?
So moved.
Second.
Take a voice vote. Blair, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And yes, we are in closed session.